I'm Jason Phelps. I teach IB Art at Columbia River High School. In the first year, basically we'll follow art history. We do some work with the Renaissance, and then we get into Impressionism and Expressionism. We'll go internationally and study other cultures. They will also learn technical skills at that time, but also art history associated with it. It gets pretty exciting for the kids when we get more contemporary, and we study things like street art when we're doing stencils. Eventually, when they get towards the end of their first year, they're meant to be pretty independent because they've learned all these different skill sets and kind of have a framework for how they want to go and be more independent. So they get to create their own movement after they've studied a movement of their choice, and that's the end of their first year. As we get into the second year, after they've done some summer homework, they have a theme or some concepts that they will work with on their own. It requires that they look internationally. So they work with whatever materials they want, but are working with concepts that are interesting to them, things they want to explore, and they create their own body of work really independently in that second year. In Visual Art 1, we are doing several different kinds of art projects. We'll do everything from a self-portrait, where we study Chuck Close. He's a contemporary artist. We'll study different sculpture. Damien Hirst is somebody we study when we're working with a little bit of clay and mixed media. We have big concepts and themes with recycled art and the environment. And those projects, again, are pretty guided, but we have an open prompt, and the kids get to have a lot of freedom using the materials that go with the prompt with a little bit of art history. So they're gaining a foundation. So it's guided to more independent for every project in Visual Art 1. And so if they have that foundation, then they are pretty much ready for an IB level class. IB in their IB exam or test, it's pretty holistic. They're looking for several things. They're going to be looking at their research in a sketchbook, kind of their pre-planning, the concepts they're working with. Playing with materials is big, really experimenting, coming to a conclusion on how to go about a project. They're also going to be looking at the artwork itself, the final product. They're going to be looking at an exhibition of some kind, and you have to find a place and a time to put your work up. And for us, what we have is the IB Art Show, and that's a big event we have in every March. And then the last thing is called the comparative analysis. And what you're doing is you're comparing yourself to two different artists from two different times. You're writing about similarities and contrasts with style and technique and concepts that the artists work with, and also talking about how you fit into that as well. In general, what IB is looking for an IB student is it's going to start off pretty guided in that first year, in that junior year probably. And then eventually by the end of the first year, the student is meant to be pretty independent. And then the second year, they're really quite independent. Of course, they're getting feedback from the teacher and really preparing for an exhibition of their artwork in March. What we would hope an IB student would gain would be a skill set with a certain media, a broad array of knowledge with art history and contemporary art, and just self-confidence to know how to build a project and to show the project and how to speak and talk about it. That we do work hard in giving the students real-world experiences, everything from their IB art show to showing around the community. Certain galleries have opened their doors to us. Fun events like we have an art car. We're collaborating with the Arts of Clark County. That's an annual event now. And so things are coming our way, and it's more than just making art and then not doing anything with it. It's working in the public and working with the people around us and showing off what you can do.